Welcome, everyone. Prep Sports Plus by the Southeast Iowa Union, powered by Fairway Food Stores. It's Andy. It's Jack. It's
We're
Peter on the
back.
ones and twos, and we're back. Week 2 of the high school football season is over. We have a special report on probably our best game of the year so far from Mr. Jack Knowlton, and we're going to talk about a lot more. You know what? I told Jack I have something to do. I have to go to the conference. I'm going to try and run out to the conference tennis meet after we tape this. I'm trying not to talk about a lot of stuff today because there are a lot of stuff that happened, Jack. Bear suck, Phillies fan, tennis dude steals the hat. There's a lot of stuff that some days we'd spend a lot of time just riffing on. I can't promise we won't do that, but I'm going to try not to. So what we're going to do, Jack, you were at a wild football game, which I watched the stream afterwards. It was crazy between Fairfield and Centerville. We're going to lead the show off with a little Fairfield Trojans versus Centerville Big Reds. Tell me how it went, Jack.
Yeah, it was nuts. Fairfield and Centerville. Centerville was a team coming in. They scored 50 points in their first game. They put up 44 against Fairfield. That ended up being enough to win. It was 44-38. And, my lead for the story ended up being pretty easy because the best moments of the game, or I guess the most important moment of the game, happened at the very end. So it was 44-38. That was the score when Fairfield had the ball for what would end up being their final drive with about 3 minutes left. They get down to the Centerville 17-yard line. They get a 4th and 2. Fairfield had been running all over them. They finished with like 300 rushing yards. I think Ethan Biscard and Zandrick Allison both had over 100 yards rushing for the day. They were both great. But 4th and 2, they decide to pass it. Voss Richardson rolls out. He finds Biscard wide open in the end zone. Touchdown. Fairfield's going to get the lead, or tie. That was to tie the game, obviously, pending the point after, which was not automatic, by the way. Fairfield had a kick blocked. Allison, I think, made his other 2, and then they went for 2 a couple times. I don't think they ever got it, or maybe got it once on 2-point tries. So that wasn't going to be automatic, but they score a touchdown, seemingly tied the game. Flag, holding, brings it back 10 yards. Now they have 4th and 12. It's, seemingly pretty dicey, right? At the high school level, especially, you're like, you're going to convert a 4th and 12. Voss Richardson rolls out to his right, finds Spencer McCready wide open in the end zone again for a touchdown. They score. They not only get the first down again, they score a touchdown. And it was pretty remarkable. And then the refs talked. Not so fast, my friend, to quote Lee Corso. Another flag. They deemed that Richardson had crossed the line of scrimmage. I looked on the stream. I have to admit, I think they were right on that one. They said he crossed the line of scrimmage. That means it's a loss of down. Centerville takes over. They get 1 first down, kneel out the game, and win. It was an absolute heartbreaker for Fairfield. They fought really well. They played great on offense on the ground. Talked to Coach Matt Jones afterward. Kudos to him. He was great. Gave me some really good insight into the locker room and kind of his message, and was very confident that his team is going to bounce back from this. And they have a lot of fight. He said they have a lot of good characters on the team. And obviously the on the field stuff, at least offensively, was really good. They executed. They run that T formation with the 3 running backs. They had, like I mentioned, Biscard and Allison, who are both over 100 yards. Spencer McCready had a 42-yard touchdown. He was good. Voss Richardson looked good. He had a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. So I really think, for as heartbreaking of a loss as it was, I think Fairfield is going to be able to bounce back from it. Their main struggle, and Matt Jones highlighted this, frankly, was the kickoff play. They had allowed a lot of really long kickoff returns. That set up Centerville in a really good field position. And they had a nice night. They're a really good offensive team. Like I said, they've scored 95 points in 2 games. So putting a team like that in good field position to start drives is probably not going to be a recipe for success. But, Fairfield showed a lot of good things, and it seemed like they're pretty confident that they're going to come back. I think the one of the best quotes I had from Jones after the game was just, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. They have to forget about it, put it out of their minds. They have their homecoming week this week against Mediapolis. They want to win that game bad. They're 0-2 now, and obviously they want to get a win on homecoming. So it was a crazy game, crazy ending, a bit of a heartbreaker for Fairfield, but they seem pretty confident that they're going to bounce back.
Yeah, that sets up. I mean, it's homecoming. They're 0-2 with games they could have won and that they probably played well in. And Mediapolis is similar, 0-2 with games they played well in. And so I'll be at the homecoming game this Friday. Happy homecoming, by the way. Last year we remembered to say happy homecoming to everybody whose homecoming it was. Happy homecoming to Fairfield. Highlands homecoming week was this week. We'll talk about that in a second. I don't remember the rest, but this is I like this. I like the setup going into Friday because Fairfield is 0-2 and Mediapolis is 0-2, but they've both played pretty well, and it's the homecoming and everything is going to be. I think it's going to be a good game. So I think that for Fairfield fans, the close game thing is going to just be something that happens a lot, because I think when we get into that district, it's going to be a lot of close games anyway, and they're not a district. They've had some battles, so. Fairfield doesn't quite get it done there. Another team that fell to 0-2 was Washington. They played at Independence. Independence looks good from what I can see. Maybe even better than I expected. Washington's offense, after playing so well against Mid Prairie, could only score once against Independence this week. Here, let me pull up the box score as I was concerned with the notification I got about my fantasy football team. Washington, remember last week, they played Mid Prairie, and that game there were like a quarter and a half where Washington looked awesome on offense, and they ended up kind of faltering in the second half. This one is a 45-7 loss to Independence, where it was 31-0 after three quarters. So Independence ranked in the top 10. Very strong team, one of the best defenses, it seems, in the class. And not much going for Washington. We can say that there was one big play where Cale Williams found Liam Roberts for an 85-yard touchdown catch. Now, Roberts caught a 46-yard touchdown catch against Mid Prairie. So Washington showing off they do have a deep ball in them. But that was the only offense they get. Williams rated for 49 yards. Besides Williams, the quarterback, Independence was able to hold Washington to 14 yards, Jack. So that's 14 yards rushing. So not good there. But Washington now plays Burlington this week with Mr. Jack on the call. And Jack, I think that is going to be a wild one because Burlington seems to play shootout games, kind of like you just saw with the Centerville Fairfield game.
Yeah, they beat Fort Madison 62-19 and Oskaloosa 45-31. So I know, I was at the Washington volleyball game, last night, which we'll get to obviously in our second block, and talked to Nathan, their AD, and he's very excited to finally have the kind of home football game. So, I mean, Washington, Independence is a good team. Washington, I think played pretty well against a ranked Mid Prairie team. Burlington's obviously unbeaten. You've got some kind of mutual SEC opponents with Oskaloosa there, between them and some of the between Burlington and some of the SEC teams, or I guess some of the District 5 teams. I forget it's not SEC. They're all in the same district this year.
It is.
So I keep thinking it's just the SEC, which it's obviously not. But this would be an SEC game in other sports with Burlington. But I think it'll be a good game. Heroes Night, Youth Night, and Senior Band Night, by the way, at Case Field.
Look at that. Jack, the master of the special nights.
I love the special nights.
Since you're the master of the special nights, did I miss any homecomings? It's Fairfield, Highland.
Oh, let me see. I think no, that's Danville. That's next week. Let me see.
Early.
I'm pulling up the football.
Yeah, it's a pretty early. While you do that, I'll talk Mount Pleasant, but it's a pretty early homecoming week for those, just in general, week 3. So those are our two big school losses. Our big school win was a dominant one from the Mount Pleasant Panthers. Mount Pleasant looked pretty strong in week 1. Knoxville looked rough in week 1, and then Mount Pleasant went to the Battle of the Panthers in Knoxville, and I was out this weekend, but I was at a wedding, and I was actually at rehearsal, and I pulled some videos up on my phone is probably the one I saw the most of was the Mount Pleasant Knoxville game. Shout out to Knoxville TV there, kind of our Knoxville.tv, SCC.tv is kind of our inspiration for our video streaming. So it was on there. It looked really good, and Mount Pleasant looked really good, especially on defense again. A 42-8 win for Mount Pleasant. So Mount Pleasant gave up 14 points against Mediapolis week one. One of those was a kicker and return touchdown. So besides the opening drive, they didn't give up anything on defense. And then Knoxville's touchdown, this one was basically a garbage time touchdown. So overall, Mount Pleasant technically has really only given up one score defensively, just that first one against Mediapolis. But this is just kind of what seems to maybe be the bread and butter of Mount Pleasant, mostly running, but a little balanced here. But Ramsey Davis went for 70 yards, but 3 touchdowns. Griffin Jones, 40 yards and a touchdown. Grayson Walker was efficient again, 9 for 13, 164 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Another good game there. The big play offensively for Mount Pleasant was Asa Rose, 74-yard touchdown reception. So we got one from Washington and one from Mount Pleasant there, one of those bomb touchdowns. Brody Clark with 3 catches for 43 yards as well. But the star of Mount Pleasant again was the defense and special teams. Big special teams play here, as Keegan Birdsell blocked a punt and Max Sloat was able to scoop it and score for a special teams touchdown. Max Sloat also had 10 or 11 tackles here? Sorry, 7 tackles. Isaiah Lang had 10. 7 tackles. Isaiah Lang had 10. Isaiah Lang was actually on the IA Sports puts out these little like the team of the week type things, kind of like the Pro Football Focus does for college football. It's obvious this is less scientific,
less analytical,
and it's got to be almost impossible to do. But shout out Isaiah Lang for making that. Gavin Kerr also had a fumble recovery. Jack Newman had an interception. Jack Newman also had an interception last week. So two picks there. So Mount Pleasant's defense now, strength of team wise, they haven't played like what Washington has played. Or even what Fairfield has played. But right now, Mount Pleasant's defense is looking stout, and they play Oskaloosa this week, which is another challenge for them. But Mount Pleasant, if they can just keep this ball rolling, who knows? They could be 3-1 or 4-0 going into district play, which would be pretty insane. So they've got maybe their 2 toughest games of the 4. I don't know where Mediapolis ranks in this, but with Oski this week, and then that's on the road, and then they'll return to home to play Central DeWitt, a pretty darn good team, at home on the 19th. So Mount Pleasant 2-0, Peter and Jack, and Mount Pleasant 2-0, Jack. So little hot start for the Panthers.
And then I forget if you mentioned it to go back to the homecomings. Waco and Mid Prairie have homecomings this week. Mid Prairie, Sigourney, Keota. That should be a fun one.
I don't think I realized the Mid Prairie, Sigourney. That's good because I'm going to do the little small school preview. Mid Prairie, Sigourney, Keota is a homecoming. That is going to be a wild atmosphere as well. So we got some winners this week. I'll be at the Fairfield game. You'll be at the Washington game. I think both of those games are going to be close and fun. Anybody going to that Mid Prairie, Sigourney, Keota game, that's going to be
that'll be a good one.
A war.
Sigourney, Keota wants to win bad. They lost to Wilton close. Last week. So and then by the way, your team themes of your game of the week in terms of theme nights has to go to MFL Marmac versus New Hampton. Mini cheerleaders performance and dance, team performance pregame, Heroes Night recognition ceremony at halftime. They got both combo.
Oh, they got a lot going on. I like the
that's your
my daughter does mini cheerleading. I don't know when they do it this year, but that's fun. I like the mini cheerleaders. You gotta get the kids involved,
Indeed. But yeah, Sigourney, Keota, Mid Prairie, to go back to our game, sir. That'll be a very, very good game. I believe I wrote it down. I think Sigourney, Keota actually has the lead in that series, even though Mid Prairie is the better team on paper. It's 5-4 since 2008. Sigourney, Keota's won the last 2 games. They won 21-14 last year. So they've had Mid Prairie's number. Mid Prairie got upset by Alburnett too last week.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I was going to give you the chance to just go through the small school Of course,
Yes.
we didn't have a ton of winners. We had a few, and a lot of our winners played against each other because
Yeah,
we had.
that's actually all of what it was. So
There you go.
Pekin, New London was two Union area schools. I was actually at that game for the first quarter. That was crazy. They scored on the first play that they had. They received the kickoff. Pekin scored on the first play. They had another one play touchdown. I think at one point they had 8 total plays and 3 touchdowns on offense. So
Wow.
they look pretty electric. They won 68-20. Riley Smith only completed 2 of 3 passes, but they were for 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Nolan Glick had 187 yards and 3 scores on the ground. So they were absolutely everywhere. London Franklin still looks good for New London. And then the other winners in our Union area games, Columbus beat Van Buren County 29-12. 3 field goals for Gabrielle Zuniga in that game. And they also had a pick 6, Lamar Sant, I believe is how you pronounce this. Siat.
He is a burner on the track. Columbus has a lot of good. Honestly, I was impressed with how close Van Buren kept it with Columbus because of Columbus's overall speed. They have a lot of good track on their team.
They went down 20. They went up 22-0 at halftime. Van Buren County scored on the first play of the third quarter, but then they ended the third quarter with that pick 6. And then Waco beat 8-player rival Winfield Mountain Union 42-22. Hayden Shellman 250 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground in that game. They were really, really good. Like I mentioned, Mid Prairie lost a tight one to Al Burnett. Brooks Weber did have 4 touchdowns and 351 yards, so he looks like the real deal at QB for them. Sigourney Keota lost to Wilton 19-14. They will play against Mid Prairie this week. Ike Molyneux had 117 yards and a touchdown for Sigourney Keota. And then Linville Sully blanked Cardinal 50-0. Wapello beat Highland 40-7. So there's your roundup.
That's a good. Now we're working on the story, but that's a good lead in, Jack, to this week was supposed to be Highland and New London. That will not happen. We've got we're Jack and Kaylin are working on a story on this, but we've gotten confirmation that no New London game. Highland is low on players. That's happened a few times the last few years for small schools in the area where injuries and stuff, they get low on numbers. So New London will win on a forfeit, and I believe, Jack, Pekin is their next opponent, you said, and they will also win on a forfeit. That does not mean that Highland, and we'll have this story more corroborated. Jack's working on it right now. That doesn't mean they're done for the year or anything, but the next 2 weeks, I believe, are donezo. Correct, Jack?
That is correct. They will not play against Pekin in 2 weeks, and they will not have their homecoming game. The school put out a statement about it. They said it was a pretty tough decision. Yes, they won't have those games. But, yeah, they have 3 road games at Danville on the 26th of September, at Van Buren County on October 3rd. Those are homecomings for both of those teams, actually. Then they're home against Columbus and then at Midland for their last game. They have those 5 left on, or those 4 rather, left on the schedule still to be played as of now.
And that it is tough because, of course, and if this would have happened, if there would have been a reason for a class like 3A or 2A team to have to miss a couple of games, it would still be non-district. But these are district games because in Class A you jump right into the district, so that'll affect the standings. Hopefully the tiebreaker stuff doesn't get too messy, but that's for the state to figure out if it comes to that. Real quick before we go to the break, I will read off. I was checking right now because we mentioned Al Burnett. Now, I vote in the Cedar Rapids Gazette football poll in Class 2A. actually ranked Al Burnett and Mid Prairie, and I just checked, and Al Burnett and Mid Prairie are both ranked. So Mid Prairie stays in the rankings despite the loss. They dropped from number 4 to number 9 now, just in there. And then Al Burnett, the team that beat them, is number 7. And then let's see. I think that should be our only ranked team, but Pekin did get 5 votes, which is 4 away from the top 10 there. So there was a number 11. Pekin is number 11 in Class A. And then no more votes for Waco. Waco got 1 vote last week in the Class A player poll. I'll just say that was me. And there was a team that was kind of just below Waco in my own personal thing that beat like a top ranked team. And so Waco keep winning. I'm sure they'll be getting votes on that. But right now, our lone ranked team, the Mid Prairie Golden Hawks. So we'll see how those shake up as the year goes on. When we come back, we got some big time volleyball to hear about. So you better stick with us. Do not leave. Plenty more Prep Sports Plus coming up.
Introducing Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every meal is a delight. Start your day with our mouth-watering breakfast options and savor flavorful lunches with friends and family. Cap off your day with our delectable dinners. Hy-Vee Market Grill, where every moment is delicious.
The Connie and Amanda team is dedicated to giving back to our community by actively engaging with our clients, businesses, and the public. When it comes to helping you find your next home, investment, or commercial space, the Connie and Amanda team is here for you.
At WCHC, our goal is to take great care of our patients and our staff.
We are able to approach you, take care of your issues, but also give you a path, as far as referrals or treating you right then and there.
Our role in the community is taking care of something that matters to everyone. It's their family and their health.
More than you expect for your health care.
Southeast Iowa Union Prep Sports Plus. We're back. We're going to talk volleyball, but first let me remind you that we are powered by Fairway Food Stores, as well as all of the advertisers that you see on our screen. We say this a lot, but most of the advertisers are like 2 years running at this point. The local businesses, they stick with us. Go support those businesses. Jack, you have been at some high quality volleyball. You've seen three of our best. I don't know how many. Maybe three of our best. 5 or 6. Probably three of our best 5 for sure. Teams in the sport of volleyball play at Washington High School. Jack had a little bit of a doubleheader Monday and Tuesday. Jack, tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a hotbed of volleyball at Washington to start out this week. The Demons, they were at the Anamosa tournament over the weekend. They went 2-2 in that, and that gave them some prep for a very, very good Mid-Prairie team that, by the way, Andy, spoiler alert, beat Washington and is now 10-0. They are 10-0 and have not played a single game at home. They will play against West Liberty on Thursday as their first home game of the season. They've been all on the road, and they're 10-0. They beat Washington 3-0, 25-17, the first and third set, 25-14 in the middle second set. I don't think it was much against Washington. They had some kind of struggle serving, but Mid-Prairie is just a really darn good team. They have the co-head coach situation with Shannon Zeb Evans. Jovi Evans had 15 assists and 15 kills in that game. She's really, really versatile for Mid-Prairie. Harper Pecha had 7 kills for them as well. So I think they were just beaten by a good Mid-Prairie team. That dropped Washington to 4-7 on the year, which is so interesting because I think they are much better than that record shows. I did some calculations, Andy, because that kind of made me curious.
Yeah.
The teams they've lost to this year, Washington, are combined 45-21, or I guess 46-21 if you count this latest Mid-Prairie win. And they have now played 4th-ranked Mid-Prairie in 2A, and they have played Clear Creek Amana, who is first. They are the number 1 team in 4A twice. They have played them twice in 2 different tournaments. So it seems like, and you can provide some context here, I think, because you've been here last year. This was a team that weren't much above 500 last year, but they had a super good SEC record and they won the conference tournament. And it seems like that's kind of the formula again this year. So it's really interesting, but credit to Mid-Prairie. I think they're going to go really far this year. They obviously got to the state quarterfinals last season in 3A Region 8. And I think they're gonna make a real push. So Washington had to kind of eat that loss, turn around and play Fairfield last night, Tuesday night. It was streamed on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. All of the home volleyball games will be streamed on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. And it was a much better result. We were expecting it to be a good game. Fairfield was 8-2. Their only losses were to Mount Pleasant. Those didn't count against their conference record because they played them in a tournament. But they did lose to Mount Pleasant, who, of course, Washington beat to go to 1-0 in SEC play. And Washington, they came out really, really strong. They won 25-11 in the first set, then 25-17 in the second. And all of a sudden, we were kind of looking at a sweep, which was pretty surprising. I was expecting this to maybe go 4 or 5. And Fairfield ended up living up to that prediction. They came all the way back, made a big comeback in set 3. I have to look exactly what they were down by again, but I think it was something like 11-6, 11-7 maybe. And they came back, ended up winning 27-25 in that third set. Thrilling ending to that one. And then Washington was able to rebound, rally, close it out in the fourth set and win 23-25 to improve to 5-7 and 2-0, more importantly, in the SEC. They were really good, much better serving the ball than they were against Mid-Prairie. I thought limited their errors really well. We, I think, on the broadcast were maybe the most impressed by Layla Green, who's their middle hitter, led them in blocks last year. She was an All-SEC first-teamer as a sophomore, was really good again last night. I believe they already posted the stats. Oh, they actually didn't, just the sets played. They fooled me.
Yeah, tricky. They do that to me all the time. Not them, but volleyball teams.
She was really good. And Leighton Messenger was her usual self. Fairfield had to make some adjustments. I talked with Coach Riebling after the game. She kind of said, she was trying some things. It kind of wasn't working, had to make adjustments, but they never wavered. Credit to them. Every point they won, no matter how much they were losing the set by, they had a lot of energy. Kept things very positive, and that showed as they kind of made a little comeback and very nearly took it to a fifth set. So it was it ended up being a lot closer than the 3-1 scoreline will probably show overall. If you look at the particular sets, they were really close. Fairfield, I think, is still a team that's going to contend, but Washington at 5-7, it's hilarious because you see Burlington at 12-4, Fairfield at 8-3, Mount Pleasant at 7-3. Fairfield, Mount Pleasant, both 1-1 in the conference. Washington's 2-0, despite a 5-7 overall record. And then Burlington is still being Burlington. So I think you're going to have a really interesting race for the SEC regular season title. Obviously, the tournament is what matters. I think all 4 of those teams are going to be vying for it. A lot of really good volleyball in the conference this year. Washington's right there. I mean, Leighton Messenger looks like the player of the year in the SEC again, and that's going to be critical for Washington. So really exciting stuff. And now Washington has 6 days off. They will play Pella Christian at home in their next match that will be streamed on the Southeast Iowa Video Network. Fairfield, let's see, I forgot. They go this weekend to the Williamsburg tournament with some good teams in there. Columbus, one of our area teams, West Liberty, Williamsburg, of course, the hosts. So good volleyball at Washington this week.
Yeah, you mentioned the standings. I think just basis on what I've seen, I think that Washington being able to already beat Fairfield and Mount Pleasant in the conference, and again, the regular season, when whoever wins the conference tournament is the conference champion, not only just the conference tournament champion, but the regular season seeds you for the round robin. And I think just on the basis of those two, they are basically in a driver's seat to be one of the teams that play in the final game, which is set up to be the championship if all the top seeds win. But I think
they're at Burlington on September 23rd. That's probably the game for the 1 seed. So
that's a big one right there. But Burlington has only played Fort Madison and Keokuk, which seem a little down this year. I think that Burlington would have a battle with Fairfield and Mount Pleasant as well. So they have a little bit of a tougher road either way. And because Washington's the only team in conference play of those 4, I'd say, that are contenders that has played 2 of them. So it's funny enough, before I dive into my game, I covered the Mount Pleasant game, and we were tearing down the stream, Mount Pleasant Live, and I said something like, Washington was up 2-0, and I think they were up in the third. So I think that they actually probably ended at the same time as us. And I clicked on the stream, and what I saw was Vicky Rebling pumping her fists, and the Fairfield girls jumping up and down because Fairfield had just sent it to a third. And then I was 30 minutes later or whatever, you guys finally started your own teardown. But so Mount Pleasant played Keokuk. And this is actually my first time to see Mount Pleasant. I knew they'd be much improved from last year just on the basis of they didn't have a lot of seniors last year. And last year, I think we kind of saw Mount Pleasant last year was one of those teams where you saw spurts where they would get the upper hand on a team that ended up being better than them or whatever, and they couldn't quite win. This year, definitely more of a for real contender. They beat Keokuk 25-14, 25-15, 25-18. Not really much drama. The third set was close up until about like 18, 16-ish. Mount Pleasant definitely is both they're sharper and they're healthier, and the at the net girls jump higher than there has been for about 4 or 5 years since they were towards the top of the conference. It was my first time seeing the dynamic duo of Addison Clark and Alex Scott in their senior year. They've been two of the best players in the conference for a while. My unofficial stats, because I always defer to the official coach stats when it comes to it, but I had Alex Scott leading with kills I had her down for 13. I had Addison Clark down for 11. And then Jenna Swartz I had a lot of people talking about her after the game. She, I think, had 3 blocks. She ended up with 4 or 5. I have her for 8 kills. She, I think, is the big difference maker up front, because last year Addison Clark was pretty much the one that would have to block a lot of the kill attempts. Now she's kind of seems to be saving her legs. I mean, they could just go to their big 2 over and over and over on the right or left side, and they were just peppering Keokuk with high power kill attempts. So not even much to say there. Oh, also one thing about Mount Pleasant is that Abby Carthy has been their setter for a few years. Last year she was kind of hobbled, a little hurt. She's looking healthy and was dishing them around. So pretty much all positives from Mount Pleasant last night. That moves them to 1-1 in the conference. As you mentioned, Washington is 2-0, Burlington is 2-0, and Fairfield is now 1-1. So Keokuk and Fort Madison both 0-2. And now you got me curious to see who the heck Mount Pleasant is playing in their next conference game. I'm going to scroll down here. They will be at the Wilton tournament, by the way, alongside Highland, alongside Winfield, Mount Union, and Burlington will be at that. So I bet they play in a non-conference game. And then Mount Pleasant will be on the road against Fort Madison for their next conference game on the 16th, which is next Tuesday. All the Tuesdays are the conference days. So, yeah, that's how the SEC is looking. It's still early, but it's starting to take shape, Jack. And I think I couldn't see a scenario where at the end of the year when we do this conference tournament, the 2-day round-robin conference tournament, where it's not an up-for-grabs type conference. I would definitely say Washington's still the favorite. To be the champs, you got to beat the champs, and they haven't been beaten yet. And I think that playing those good teams will just help. Help as the year goes on. I don't think they'd be too worried about their overall record is now, because as you mentioned, they've played so many good teams. So a lot of positives for our area volleyball teams. Yeah,
very good. I mean, Fairfield, they played that. They're still a good team too. Like they played in an event at Waco against a couple of their area teams. Waco Cardinal and New London absolutely swept all of those teams. Waco and New London too. I was at that event. Are very young, and they got some wins in that as well against one another. So there's a lot of good things, I think, but particularly for those big 3 schools in the SEC, mm-hmm. I think it's going to be an exciting tournament.
I agree. Yeah, another thing about Fairfield is that I just feel like they have probably more weapons. They don't have the I can't say they don't have, because Leah Helmut can really get up, but they don't have as many super leapers like when Messenger or Clark or Scott get up, and you're like, wow, she can stink and jump basically over the net. But it's a good dynamic. I'm excited that they're all good, and that they all. I think I would say that there's a legitimate chance for all 3 teams, which is nice, refreshing. There have been years in the past where there's been 2 really good SEC teams, and everybody else you would go to those games to cover them, and you would have a 100% certainty of who's going to win, and that's not the world we live in anymore. The world we're going to be living in is the commercial world here. And when we come back, we got a little breaking news, not really breaking, unless you follow our Twitter. You got the real break news on the Conference Girls Tennis Team Championship and a little cross country as well. So stick with us.
Attention Hy-Vee shoppers, introducing Hy-Vee Perks, your ticket to exclusive savings and rewards. Access exclusive perks, prices, earn gas discounts, and unlock special deals. All this for free. Join Hy-Vee Perks today and start saving.
At Seafirst Credit Union, we're all about making connections, like how we connect you to that dream vacation with a savings account designed to help get you on the flight there. Connect with Seafirst today and see why together is better.
Hey, you want to see something really scary?
3, chills, and things that go bump in the night. The Russians' House of Terror. Family-friendly Halloween treat. Visit the Midwest Haunted Rail. Unlimited rides on the Ghost Train, trolley, and carousel, blow-ups, and carnival ride, all for one low price. Kids 4 and under free. Scare up some fun at Midwest Haunted Rails, McMillan Park, Mount Pleasant.
In the heart of rural Iowa, where community matters most, the connections we make are made to last. Meet KCTC, your hometown internet, phone, and TV provider. At KCTC, we're not just about technology, we're about people. Our dedicated team are your neighbors, committed to bringing you top-tier services right where you live. We believe in giving back to the community that raised us. Experience the power of a real connection with KCTC. Join us in building a stronger, more connected Southeast Iowa.
Welcome back, Prep Sports Plus, powered by Fairway Food Stores. And my hair is crazy. I've been doing a lot of this with my hair. It's been a stressful weekend. I was away from football for a little bit, which is the most stressful thing that can ever happen to a person. Jack, I'm going to talk a little tennis. You want to hear a little tennis? You want to hear a little tennis, Jack?
I do.
Let's hear a little tennis.
I played tennis, Andy.
Do you play tennis?
I sometimes do now, and I did at the same level of the people that you're about to talk about.
Oh, nice. You were a high school tennis player. One of my biggest regrets, and I don't understand, it never occurred to me in high school that I should go out for either golf, tennis, or bowling, but I love playing those 3 sports. I wish I was better at all of them. They're, more individual sports where I love playing tennis now. And it gives me a nice, it's a life sport.
We'll have to play.
We do need to play. Does Peter play tennis?
We can make him. We'll make him.
What if we should have like a Southeast Iowa Union. I wouldn't be surprised if publisher Matt has played a little tennis in his day, but we could have a big tournament.
That'd be very fun. I'd be so down. Tennis is great.
Tennis is great. It's just so fun. It's just like basketball, where I like the workout. I'm not good at it, but I could play for an unlimited amount of hours and never be like, all right, I'm ready to stop playing.
Indeed.
More yesterday evening, was at Fairfield Middle School. Now, let me set the stage. This is actually 2 nights ago, which is 3 nights ago if you watched this on Thursday. I just lied. Let me set the stage. Fairfield comes in first place, undefeated in all duels, but in SEC play. Burlington, once defeated, only lost to Fairfield. Ooh, this is the last SEC game of the year. Ooh, that means mathematically, this is basically the championship. Ooh. And the drama didn't last very long because Fairfield went 5-1 in singles, which that's 5 out of you only play 9 total games. So once you win 5, it's over.
It's wraps.
That's wraps. Wins in the singles by Pujita Mukadam, Natalie Steele, Rhea Ross, Soraya Yamaner, and Faven Gaber-Mariam, the top 6. And then in doubles, a couple of big wins from Rhea Ross and Soraya Yamaner in the number 1 doubles match. Now, a little hint, you guys might know about this because of Twitter, but by you guys, I mean people watching this. But the SEC tournament is going on right now. I think those two are probably going to be favored in the doubles because I think I can say this because it's already happened. I got inside information that Fairfield's number 1 and number 2 will be playing singles today. Let me talk about that here in a second. But and Pujita Mukadam and Tula Soplayton won a thriller in the number 2 doubles match. Got a picture of them jumping up and hugging after their win, which ended the day. So 7-2 win for Fairfield. They're the SEC champions again. at this point, sometimes I would say like, oh, that's so many championships in so many years. Fairfield wins a lot of SEC girls tennis championships, and they are number 4 according to the Iowa Tennis Association, number 3 according to the Mathematical Persuasion, which puts together the brackets. The team brackets will be out this week so we'll find out both for Fairfield and Mount Pleasant what the order of operations is as far as who's playing who. I'm going to guess they're going to throw Fairfield and Mount Pleasant against each other in the same pot of 4 because they always do, because we're in Southeast Iowa and they always do that to us, which I would be okay with because then we'll have them both at the same time. The SEC tournament is going on as we record this. I'm going to run out afterwards, see if I can get some pictures of whoever the champs is. I'm going to tell you that there is a Mukadam and Steele in the singles, and that top duo for Fairfield are heavy favorites. So you're likely going to see some more Fairfield glory there. That's what's going on in tennis. So by the time we get into next week, it's going to be like regional tournament tennis. It's going to be like a postseason show next week. And then cross country, Jack, you are going to your first cross country meet in Fairfield, Iowa. Did you go to a cross country meet last week?
No, I did.
This is your first cross country meet to cover.
Is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Opie's very excited. He can come with me. Take some pictures.
Here it comes. Oh, bud. All right, cool. A little camera shy, huh? That was the one time I wanted you to bark. All right, never mind. A little primer on what he's going to see is the Fairfield meet has a bunch of kids from our area. It has basically all of our schools. I don't think Mid Prairie's there. Sometimes they are. I have to check.
They're not.
They're not there. I think maybe there was like one odd year they were. And Kyoto's not, but like I think Waco, Winfield, Van Buren, Cardinal, all the teams.
Oh, you want me to read them? Run them down?
Read them off. Read them off, and I'll do a little thumbs up if they're our area team.
Cardinal, Fairfield, Highland, Hillcrest, Mount Pleasant, New London, Van Buren County, Washington, Winfield, Mount Union will all be there.
Wow, that's a lot. So there's no Waco in there,
huh? Not for the girls or the boys. Neither one.
There you go. But that's like the most we're gonna get in one setting. Mount Pleasant's maybe. Mount Pleasant has a big one that has a lot of small schools that might rival it. But one thing you'll see is so in the girls race, there are a lot of the big school girls. Freshman from Mount Pleasant, Avery Feather is now ranked number 4 in Class 3A. Freshman again. Of course, she started out unranked because I don't think they even rank freshmen. But they ran in Pella and she got third to the number 1 and 2 runners. The defending champ from Pella. Pella is awesome at girls cross country, like so awesome that you go to the state thing and you're like, is there anybody else here except Pella? Because those are all Pella girls who just ran past me. And Fedler is right there. I mean, she is a legitimate threat in 3A. It will be the first time, I believe, that she runs against Ira Stahl from Washington and Avery Rump from Fort Madison, both former SEC champions. Ira Stahl is the defending SEC champion. So excited for girls and boys, but the girls race, Jack, that's going to be a historic moment in Southeast Iowa.
Yeah, very excited for it. I mean, to see a freshman do that well at Pella and just burst onto the scene like this, it's going to be fun to document. So we'll certainly try to talk to her and whoever ends up winning it. If it's Ira Stahl, it seems like it's going to be a competitive shoot. So I'm looking forward to capturing it.
And then, we have some good. We have a lot of good individual boys, though. Some small school boys that we had a lot of state. We just good at cross. We just run. You know what? When it comes to Southeast Iowa, people just like to run. We run this town and every town. And the town that is going to be ran on Thursday, which is the day you're probably watching this because the day it comes out, is Fairfield, Iowa. And Waterworks Park. By the way, Jack, let me think of some advice just to tell you. There's going to be parking on the side. If you're even where the graveyard is, it's a long walk, but that's as close as you're going to get. So just park on the side. Don't worry about battling over a parking spot. It's an uphill walk on the sidewalk, but once you get there, you're like, that was worth it. And then 2, you got to watch out for the deer because we had a deer attack last year, like a whole stinking herd of deer. I'd never seen anything like it. ran out in front of the lead. Actually, it was in between like the leading pack and the second pack for the girls' race. It was crazy, and I didn't get any good pictures of it. They were so fast. The deer were so fast, they scared me. They ran by me, like they rubbed up against me, and so one of my life regrets is I didn't get a great picture of it. So maybe it'll happen again. Anything else you want to say, Jack?
I don't think so. Exciting week coming up. Looking forward to the first home football game to call that on Friday, and some cross country before that. Just high level stuff for Southeast Iowa. So a ton of stuff. Football,
and a bunch of other stuff. If I would have had the foresight, I should have dressed like the Karen ball snatching Phillies fan. That would have been a funny little prank to pull. That wouldn't have been very hard for me. I could have just dyed my hair a little bit. I have glasses already.
Touchdown.
Wait, what?
I don't know. I was just ad-libbing.
Oh, you just love football.
Yeah.
Just a guy who loves football. Touchdown.
I'm just a football guy.
I'm a football guy unless I have to watch the Bears. The Bears aren't in prime time, which is good because I don't know how much I can take of that. And you guys are Seahawks fans, and you guys lost too.
Yeah, no comment. I have no comment.
I don't know how much I could take. I love football, but on Monday night I was literally just laying in silence for like an hour without saying anything. I wasn't playing on my phone. I wasn't watching anything on TV. I was just looking into the abyss. So depressing. Anyway, that's it. When do you think we'll see our friends that watch the show again?
Touchdown. I think we'll see them next week, Thursday.
Touchdown. If I had my eye black, I would just put it on as a joke, but I've already. Anyway.
You got to go to tennis. You can't show up to the tennis with the eye black.
Well, that would be really, yeah. Yeah, that's true. They wouldn't make fun of me. They wouldn't make fun of me. The Fairfield Mount Pleasant girls tennis teams or coaches, they would respect the hustle. Peace out.